Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 4, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. I am Raymond Ita. Let's take a look at the headlines. Germany's Baybok to return Benin bronzes to Nigeria. House of Reps demand hospital relocation from President Buhari's hometown. Plus, Ghana accuses Burkina Faso of hiring Russian Wagner mercenaries. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Thanks for staying with us. First in the news this afternoon, the German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock will hand back 20 stolen Benin bronzes when she travels to Nigeria next week as part of Berlin's efforts to reckon with its colonial past. Recall that Germany signed an agreement in July. Spokesman Christopher Berger, the batch of Benin bronzes can be returned before the end of the year, shows how serious Germany is about facing up to its colonial past. In another development, the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, at its meeting shared a total sum of 902.053 billion naira to the three tiers of government as Federation allocation for the month of November 2022. From the stated amounts, inclusive of gross statutory revenue, value-added tax, exchange gain, and electronic money transfer levy, and 70.836 billion, and the local government councils got 204.130 billion naira, while the oil-producing states received 68.572 billion as derivation and 13% of mineral revenue. The communique issued by the Federation Account Allocation Committee at the end of the meeting indicated that the gross revenue available from the value-added tax for November 2022 was 202.839 billion. The distribution saw the federal government taking 30.994 billion naira. In a separate development, the federal government has directed airlines to allow Nigerians returning home with expired passports to board their aircraft without any hindrance. A directive from the Controller General of Nigeria Immigration Service noted that the federal government of Nigeria has approved that Nigerians returning home can be admitted into the country with their expired Nigerian passports. The directive also urged all Nigerian diplomatic missions abroad to circulate the information to airline operators and border authorities of host countries for their necessary action. In the meantime, Nigeria to the tune of 5.2 trillion naira. She disclosed this during a two-day sensitization workshop in Minna, Niger State. The minister, represented by the Director of Special Project at the Ministry, Victor Mata, stated that the debt cuts across 19 ministries, departments, and agencies. She added that the efforts aimed at recovering the aggregated debts are still ongoing. We move to the legislature, where the House of Representatives has demanded the relocation of a Federal Medical Center, FMC, from Daura, the hometown of President Muhammadu Buhari, to Fontau in Katsina State. The Federal Parliament particularly urged the Federal Ministry of Health to reconsider the process of converting the Daura General Hospital to a federal medical center in public interest, while also urging the ministry to facilitate the relocation of the FMC to Funchal, being the only senatorial district without a federal health tertiary institution with immediate effect. A member of the House from Katsina State, Babangida Ibrahim, made the demand in a motion at plenary, which the lawmakers unanimously adopted. On promotion within the ranks and file of the Nigerian military, the Nigerian Army Council has approved the promotion of 122 senior officers from the ranks of Brigadier General to Major General and Colonel to Brigadier General, respectively, Brigadier Generals and 70 Colonels. According to him, the Brigadier Generals were elevated to Major Generals and the Colonels to Brigadier Generals. He said the promotion was in recognition of the meritorious service to the nation. We move to politics, where the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has promised to ensure that the Onitsha port will become operational, as well as resuscitate industries in the southeast in order to boost the nation's economy. Atiku stated this while addressing party supporters during his campaign rally in Awka, the Anambra State capital. He explained that they were part of requests made by the Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Soludo, when he recalled the role played by the late Alex Ekweme in the formation of the PDP. He said Ekweme, who led the PDP for 34 years, noted that Anambra is PDP.
We are going to dredge River Niger and make sure Onitsha port is functional. We are also going to make sure that we support Anambra State to industrialize the state, so that the state can. I promise to set aside $10 billion to promote small and medium-scale enterprises for our young men and women so that they can be independent.
Moving on, mixed reactions have continued to greet the disbursement of the new Naira notes that officially came into circulation yesterday, with many bank customers demanding for the new notes, while a few others snubbed the latest bills in banking halls across major Nigerian cities. The newly redesigned 1,000, 500 and 200 Naira bills finally became a legal tender on December 15, 2018. Reports say several bank branches in several cities across the country, especially in Lagos and Abuja, had run out of the small quantities of the new notes allocated to them from their head offices as early as 12 noon. While several bank branches were yet to get their new note allocations, with many bank officials informing that the new notes were still being expected. Back here, the Kwabam State House of Assembly has passed the 2023 appropriation bill of the state, with 0.5 billion for recurrent expenditure and 355.995 billion naira for capital expenditure. The proposed bill, which amounted to 0.4% of the initial proposed budget size, followed the report of the Uduagudodo-led House Committee on Finance and Appropriation. Recall that Governor Domimano, during the House sitting on Monday, November 7, 2022, presented his budget's address for consideration, adding that by virtue of Order 8, Rule 1, Subsection 3 of the Standing Order of the House, the Appropriation Bill of 2023 was deemed read for the first time. Reports say after a fruitful clause-by-clause deliberation at the Committee of the Whole and Supply, members unanimously accepted the reports and the appropriation bill was subsequently passed into law. The Speaker, Right Honorable Aniyekan Bassi, who presided over the plenary, directed the Clerk of the House, Mandu Morin, to communicate the position of the House to the Executive Governor for assent. its upcoming governorship debate in the state, while assuring transparency and calling for support from the media in seeing to the successful execution of the debate holding on the 29th of January 2023 at Ibom Icon Hotel and Golf Resort by 4 p.m. prompt. In his opening remarks, the Akwa Ibom State NUJ Chairman Amos Etuk promised that the union would open its doors to all political parties to have access to it at all times. Delivering his remarks, the chairman of the Akwa Ibom NUJ Political Committee, organizers of the Akwa Ibom State Governorship Debate 2023, Anekan Udofia, noted that the project is an NUJ project and thus appealed to the media to own the project aimed at the betterment of all Akwa Ibom. The committee chair stressed that the committee has collected no money from anyone and operates independently of any political influence. Udofia further noted that only qualified candidates by law will be fielded on the day of the debate. Also speaking, the Akwa Ibom State Nigeria Labour Congress Chairman Sonny James, among other partners of the political debate, reiterated their support for the initiative, which they concurred is primarily aimed at selecting credible leaders who will effectively steer the affairs of the state from 2023. High point of the event was the unveiling of the official logo of the Akwa Ibom Governorship Debate 2023, the official hashtag for the debates, the official Facebook page, contact to reach the committee, the official email address, and a Google Sheet for questions to be sent to the committee's question bank. The hashtag of the event was announced as hashtag AKS Golf Debate 2023.
The agenda is that we must have Akwa Ibom sons who are interested in consolidating on the gains of the foundations of our previous and present leader in making sure that the choices we make in 2023 will be the very best choice for who will succeed His Excellency Governor Dom Emmanuel. And with less than 83 days to March 11th of the governorship elections, today's unveiling of the logo formally gives the governorship debate an identity, formally gives the governorship debate a new narrative, and formally lets Akwa Ibom people to know that the countdown has formally started. I want to assure you that NUJ, in collaboration with our partners, will ensure that this debate will come out satisfactorily to everybody. I want to assure you that we will ensure that critical sectors that needs to be
Moving on to developments from the African continent, 6 countries of the Economic Community of Central Africa, Cameroon, Congo, Gabon, Chad, the CAR, and Equatorial Guinea, the BIC, or the Bank of Central African States, have put into circulation new banks are more compact, modern, and better secured, stressing that for the production of the bills, the BEAC had used technology that puts it one step ahead of counterfeiters. According to the Bank of the Central African States, the new bills were put into circulation in December in accordance with the decision taken on November 7 in Douala by the Ministerial Committee of the Central African Monetary Union, UMAC. Recall that the BEAC had stressed in a press release last November that despite the introduction of new banknotes of the 2020 range, the 2002 range of banknotes continues to be in force in the Economic Community of Central Africa, CEMAC. Still in Africa, Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo says his neighbor, Burkina Faso, has reached an agreement with the Russian paramilitary group Wagner. According to the Ghanaian head of state, who said this during a meeting in the United States with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Russian mercenaries are at the northern border of Ghana, which is particularly worrying. However, spokesman for the Burkinabe government, Jean-Emmanuel Quadrago, has said they will not react to the accusation. According to reports, Moscow is conducting an act that is increasingly vilified in several French-speaking African countries. Recall that on Monday, Burkina Faso's Prime Minister Apollinaire Clayem de Tambela met in Moscow with Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov to discuss priority issues of strengthening relations between the two countries, according to a Russian Foreign Ministry statement. Still to come in the news, FIFA chief announces plans for a 32-team Club World Cup. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. Moving on developments from the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Ihnat has said that 60 missiles had been launched towards Ukraine so far. Ihnat, who also gave a detailed description of the weaponry used in the attacks, said missiles were launched from the Black Sea as MiG-31K aircraft were spotted in the skies. He also noted that for the first time, the launches from the north of the Caspian Sea. Missile attacks have been reported across Ukraine today, including in Kyiv, Odessa, Kharkiv, and Zaporizhia, recalling that since October, Russia has waged a series of strikes against Ukraine that have damaged the energy system and civilian infrastructure, causing power outages in the freezing winter. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces have reportedly unleashed the biggest attack on the occupied Donetsk region since 2014, in the wake of heavy fighting in the east of the country. Moscow-appointed Mayor Alexei Kalemzin made the disclosure in a post on Telegram. Donetsk has been held by Russian-backed separatists for 8 years and is one of the 4 Ukrainian regions that Moscow attempted MLRS were fired at civilians in the city, adding that a key intersection in Donetsk city center had come under fire. Still on the foreign scene, Peru's Supreme Court has ordered ousted former President Pedro Castillo to remain in pre-trial detention for 18 months. Castillo, a former teacher and union leader from rural Peru, was impeached and removed from office last week after he attempted to dissolve Congress and install an emergency government, a tactic that lawmakers slammed as an attempted coup. He has since been accused of rebellion and conspiracy, which he denies. Supreme Court Judge Juan Carlos said the lengthy detention reflects the complexity of the case and possible flight risks after prosecutors warned that the ex-president might seek asylum outside the country, stressing that the 18 months would cover the duration of their investigation. On our business news, the World Bank has said that Nigeria is in a worsening situation, with economic performance becoming weaker as inflation persists. The Washington-based bank stated this in its newly released Nigeria Development Update, and the area is in a challenging and deteriorating economic situation as the country's economic performance has weakened since the previous Nigeria Development Update was published in June 2022. The financial institution, which forecasts growth to slow by 2.9% in 2023, also cuts Nigeria's 2022 growth forecast to 3.1% from a previous forecast of 3.8%, noting that the revision was due to slow economic growth in the third quarter from a year earlier, dragged down by oil sector and a weak performance in other areas of the economy. Meanwhile, inflation in Nigeria accelerated for the 10th straight month to 21.47% in November. The figure means that in the month of November 2022, the general price level was a 6.0% higher in inflation figure in November 2021. Well, this was 0.15% higher than the rates recorded in October 2022, which was 1.24%. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, stated this in its latest Consumer Price Index report published on its website. The NBS attributed the rise in prices to food supply disruptions, input cost hikes due to currency depreciation, and a rise in production costs. In health, the federal government has ranked Nasarawa State as the best performing state in the COVID-19 mass vaccination campaign. National Primary Healthcare Development Board made this known at a COVID-19 performance review meeting held in Abuja. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, also said Nasarawa State has constructed 19 new facilities and renovated 90 health facilities. Meanwhile, the progress report are Nasarawa, Jigawa, Osun, Kaduna, and Kano State. The NPHCDA said Nasarawa State represents all that is needed in terms of efforts to build resilient primary healthcare and the effort that traverses programmatic, infrastructural, workforce, as well as fiscal initiatives. Still in health, United Kingdom nurses, RCN, has staged an unprecedented one-day strike as a last resort in their fight for better wages and working conditions. Despite warnings that it could put patients at risk, up to 100,000 members of the Royal College of Nursing in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland are protesting after rejecting a government pay offer. The RCN's industrial action is part of a growing wave of stoppages by public and private sector employees. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom government has admitted that there were serious shortages of antibiotics to treat bacterial infections from severe cases of group of Streptococcus infection and shortages of other types of antibiotics in Europe and North America. And now in sports, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has announced plans today for a 32-team Club World Cup from 2025, despite reported opposition from Europe's biggest clubs. An expansion of the competition has long been a pet project of Infantino. A 24-team event featuring 8 sides from Europe was planned for 2021 in China, but was put on hold due to the coronavirus pandemic. Meanwhile, Infantino said the new-look tournaments would be even bigger than first planned. Still in sports, the incumbent president of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Habu Gimel, has been elected for another term in office, defeating close challenger and former Minister of Sports Sani Ndanusa by 21 to 19 votes at the elective Congress of the NOC, which held in Jalingo, Taraba State. With 21 out of the 40 votes, Gimel secured an absolute majority of 50% plus 1 as the keenly contested election into the president's seat climaxed the Congress of the body, just as 8 other positions were also contested. Gimel's victory at the polls secured a 3rd consecutive term and a 5th term overall for the Jigawa-born IOC member, whose last 8 years in office has attracted heavy criticisms. He was first elected as NOC president in 2002 and was in office until 2010. He returned again in 2014 and was in office till 2022 before winning another term at the election. On our entertainment news, there were tears and wailing from the family and friends when popular singer and chief executive officer of Zama Entertainment, Samuel Okposo, was buried in Lagos. Recall that the singer died on November 25 at the age of 51. Reports say a night of tributes had earlier been held for the singer at the La Madison Place, Oniru, in Lagos on Tuesday, with fellow singers Tope Alabi and Timi Dakshotu followers on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtv.ng. And you've been watching the news at 4. Thank you so much for watching. I am Raymond Ita. Enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast.